Is your main job to come up with the perfect answer, or is it to make sure a great answer actually gets implemented? Because, as we're about to see, those two things are often not the same at all. And getting them mixed up, well, that's a classic trap for really smart leaders.
Right, and this gets us to what we call the expert's dilemma. Let me break it down with a story that's probably going to sound, well, pretty familiar.
Okay, so the setup is a total classic. You've got a big company, and they need to figure out their cloud strategy. This is a huge, technically tricky decision that's going to affect the whole business. So naturally, they bring in a team of experts to solve it. So this first team, they spend 8 weeks doing what experts do, right? They did this brilliant, super deep analysis, but they did it all in a black box. Then they emerged with this massive 200-page report that said, use AWS. But the company's IT leadership, the people who actually had to do it, they hadn't been part of that journey. They had their own ideas, and this big reveal just fell flat. The whole project stalled out. It went absolutely nowhere.
And this right here is the fundamental problem. You've got the black box expert on one hand, who delivers this technically perfect answer that nobody feels any connection to. And on the other hand, you have the co-creation guide, who gets that the process of finding the answer is what creates the deep buy-in you need for any real change to actually stick. And that failure, that's what forces this huge shift in your mindset. It's about stepping away from being the content expert and stepping into the role of being a master facilitator. So what does this actually look like? Well, a leader as facilitator completely reframes your value. You're no longer the person who provides the answers. Instead, you're the architect of the decision-making process itself. Your job is to design the roadmap that allows your brilliant team to discover the best answer on their own.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A solution that's co-created isn't just smart on paper, it works in the real world, with real people. It has this built-in momentum because the people who have to bring it to life also feel like they built it from the ground up. Okay, so how do you actually do this in practice? Look, this isn't about just sitting back and letting chaos reign, right? Not at all. It's about using a really structured framework to guide your team's thinking. The model has 4 key steps. First up, you provide the frameworks, the logical containers for their ideas. Second, you guide the debate inside that structure. Third, your job is to listen, pull out the key insights, and play them back to the team for clarity. And finally, and this is the big one, your ultimate goal is to build their capabilities so that next time they can run this whole process without you. Let's jump back to our cloud strategy story for a sec. The second leader who came in, she didn't present an answer at all. Instead, she ran a workshop. She introduced frameworks like the locus of control matrix and guided the business and IT leaders through a debate. And by the end, the team decided for themselves on a hybrid solution, an answer they were all in on. She didn't provide the answer. She provided the process. All right, so let's get tactical. How can we turn all of this into a real playbook you can start using like right away? Here are 3 really concrete tactics. First, shift your prep time. Instead of spending hours polishing slides, spend that time designing the workshop agenda and the key questions. Second, in that workshop, physically let a team member hold the pen at the whiteboard. It's a simple thing, but it creates a huge sense of ownership. And third, practice asking, not telling. So instead of saying we should do X, try asking, okay, looking at our framework, what does it suggest we do here? And how do you know if you're actually getting this right? Here's a powerful, kind of non-obvious metric for you. Stop counting how many of your ideas made it into the final plan. Instead, start counting how many of the key insights were first spoken aloud by a member of your team. When that number is high, you know you're nailing it. Okay, let's make this super real, because a framework is totally useless if it just stays theoretical, right? So here is your action item. 1 simple thing you can try this week. That's it. Super simple, just once. The next time you're in a meeting and you feel that urge to jump in with the answer, just pause. Take that same insight and reframe it as a question. So instead of, we need to focus on retention, maybe try, what is our data telling us is the biggest lever we have for growth right now? And just see what happens. And you know, that little action, it's the first step towards answering this final, really critical question. This is the ultimate test. If your team can confidently and correctly explain the why behind a huge decision to other people, without you even in the room, then you've won. You've truly made the shift from expert to architect. You've built a team that doesn't just rent your ideas, they own and champion their own.